Jungkook, his name echoed through the room, sharp and Jungkook looked up from his laptop, slightly startled, only to find his girlfriend standing there pouting, arm crossed, drawing in his oversized shirt that slip off one shoulder. She looked soft, clingy, and completely irresistible. A slow smile appeared on his. What is it? Van stamped her foot lightly, her paw deepening. I want your attention. Before he could even respond, she walked over and snatched the laptop right off his and placed it aside like it offended her existence. Then, without hesitation, she climbed onto his, settling herself comfortably as if that was her rightful place. Jungkook let out a quiet chuckle, his hand instantly wrapping around her, pulling her closer. You already have all of it, he murmured, brushing a loose strand of hair behind her ear. What more does my need? He leaned in and placed a soft peck on her booty. One tried to stay annoyed, but the corner of her reach. How about if we go shopping? Jungkook raised the brow, amused at how quickly her mood changed. Shopping, huh? She nodded eagerly, her eyes lighting up. Yet, yes, right now. He sighed dramatically, but his smile gave him away. As my queen wished, one beamed happiness. Instantly replacing her pouch, she leaned forward and his cheek quickly. Okay, I'm getting ready then. Before he could say anything else, she jumped off his and ran toward the closet, her excitement filling the room. Jungkook leaned back against the headboard, a soft chuckle leaving his as he watched her disappear into the closet like a storm of energy. Such a he murmured, but the fondness in his voice said otherwise. Inside the closet, Van was already pulling out outfit, throwing a one dress after another on the bed. Van shouted, Jungkook, black or pink? Jungkook walked in toward her lazily, his eyes scanning the mess she created. He picked up the pink one, holding it in front of her. This, you look softer in pink. Van scrunched her nose. I am always soft. Jungkook smirked, stepping closer, his hand slipping around her. Not always. Sometimes you act like a. She gasped dramatically. He's likely. Excuse me. He leaned down, brushing his nose against hers. Cute. Her anger melted instantly, her curling into a smile. Then you're cute. Want this drink? Of course she does, he said, handing it to her before stepping back. Get ready, I'll wait. Wan nodded while Jungkook went outside. Wan quickly changed and within a second she walked out fixing her hair. Jungkook's eyes paused on her for a second. He just stared. Say something, how do I look? She said, spinning a horns. He walked up to her slowly, his gaze still fixed on like trouble. He whispered, Wan Green, I know. Jungkook grabbed his car keys, intertwining his fingers with hers. Let's go then, Trevor. She squeezed his hand excitedly as they walked out together, her chatter already filling the air. While Jungkook simply listened, a small smile stuck on his, completely wrapped around her little finger. The mall was a crowded, lights shining from every store, people walking around with the bags in their hands, but Jungkook's eyes were only on one person, Wan. She walked out of the trial room, adjusting the soft red dress that hugged her perfectly. Her hair fell over her shoulder, and she looked at him with a small, unsure smile. How is it? Jungkook didn't answer immediately. He just stared, eyes slowly traveling from her face to the dress, then back to her eyes. Take it, he said simply. One blink, you did not even say if it looks good or not. He leaned back on the couch, arm crossed, a snake playing on his. Everything looks good on you. Her cheeks turned slightly pink. Jungkook, he had clearly enjoying her reaction. She rolled her eyes softly, but could not hide her smile. You are impossible. So what? I told the truth. He stood back instantly. One didn't reply. She just turned and went back inside to change. But her smile stayed. A few minutes later, she came out again, this time in a short black dress. It was a simple, but it was not innocent. It hugged her perfectly, the hem sitting a little too high on her. Jungkook straightened. Instantly, his eyes just a little. He stood up slowly, walking toward her, his gaze enough to make her nervous. Wan softly, "How is this one?" Jungkook stopped right in front of her. Turn around. She hesitated for a second. Then slowly turned. Jungkook challenged Wan. We are buying it, he said, voice lower now. She smiled, about to say something, but he leaned closer, his hand resting lightly on her. But you are not wearing this outside. Wan broke road. Why? What? Jungkook tied his eyes lock on her. Because I don't like the idea of other people seeing at you like this. Wan blinked surprise, then a small teasing smile appeared. Are you genius? He didn't even genie it very much. For a second, she just looked at him, then laughed softly. Wan whispered, Fine, I'll wear it only for you. That seemed to him. Jungkook stepped back, nodding once. Her passed like that. Wan trying dresses, his accessories, and Jungkook buying almost everything she liked, even without checking the price. Soon their guards' hands were full of shopping bags. Wan looked at him, eyes wide. Jungkook, this is too much. Jungkook shrugged casually. You like them. That doesn't mean you have to buy everything. He leaned closer. I want. She went quiet. There was something about the way he said it, so simple, yet so sure. Her fingers slowly slipped into his free hand, holding it gentle. Jungkook glanced down at her joined hands, then back at her face. No, now, no more you want shopping? Van shook her head, smiling softly. No more. He squeezed her hand lightly. Good, because now he leaned closer. He is almost brushing her ear. I'm tired and I want my attention back. Van hit slightly. She looked up at him, cheeks, while he just smiled, already knowing exactly what kind of attention he meant. And just like that, the shopping trip turned into something much more interesting. Okay, but first I want to eat something. I'm hungry. Jungkook chuckled, shaking his head at her priorities. Alright, let it first. The food court was buzzing with noise, but Van was fully focused on her burger, happily munching, while Jungkook sat across from her, scrolling through email on his phone. He was not hungry. He just liked watching her eat, cheeks slightly puffed, eyes soft. As she took another bite, voices from the table behind her caught her attention. My bro, my boyfriend last night, me in the car. One girl giggled. The other guessed, seriously, you must have had a nice time. Of course I did, the first one said proudly. One front slightly chewing slowly. One thought in the car, how they can. Her brother has tried to imagine it. One thought the space, the position. How was that even possible? She shook her head lightly and focused back on her food, but the thought stayed quietly poking her mind. After eating, they headed back home. Inside the car, the night felt calm. Street light passed by in soft blur as Jungkook drove one hand on the wheel, the other resting casually. Wan sat quietly looking out the window, but her mind was far from peaceful. Jungkook noticed. Why are you so quiet? He called softly, glancing at her. She shrugged, avoiding his eyes. He smiled faintly, his voice gentle. You know, you can tell me. Man hesitated, then sighed, turning slightly toward him. You know, you can. How can people in a car? Jungkook's foot the brake. The car came to a smooth stop on a quiet roadside. He turned fully toward her, one brow raised, slowly curling. In the car, Van nodded, pouting a little. I mean, it's such a small space. How did they even manage? For a moment, Jungkook just looked at her. Then a low chuckle escaped him. Do you want to know how they do? Her head slightly. She heard lower, eyes dropping for a second before nodded shyly. Jungkook's make. Then let me show you. He leaned a little closer, his voice dropping. Van had started beating faster as I reached out gently, tilting her chin up so she had to look at him. He leaned in, pressing a slow to her, teasing, making her instantly. Jungkook leaned back against the seat, a little heavier, his hand still resting protectively around her. "Now you understand?" he murmured, voice low and slightly. Van nodded, still catching her. Her cheeks flushed as she looked down for a second before glancing back at him. Yeah, a small shy smile tugged at her